Hi, today I wanted to talk to you about business logistics and specifically about office space. Now, there's a few things I need you to consider before you decide to rent a full-time office. So that's the first question you need to ask yourself. Do you need an office full-time, Monday through Sunday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., or all night? When are you seeing clients? How many actual hours are you going to be needing that office? Because there's usually another therapist that you can go into and split the cost. You might find established therapists in the area that have an extra room. I know other therapists who have used doctor's offices or churches or even preschools that have extra rooms to save on rent. When you're first starting out, rent is usually your biggest expense, and we want to try to keep that as low as possible. The other question when we're looking at it is, who has the ability to turn the lights on? Who has the ability to turn the air conditioner on? Some of the buildings that you're going to look at, they have a central air conditioning or central electrical box. And that means that the electricity or the air conditioning and heating are only on during certain times. Most therapists, however, work odd hours, or they work at least longer hours than the traditional banking hours of, say, 9 to 5 or 8 to 5. So do you have control of the air conditioning and the electricity during the time that you're actually in the office? When we were first starting out, we found a really nice office in a bank building, and we were going to rent it until we found out we wouldn't have access to the air conditioning, and they closed the bank at 5 o'clock. And so we have clients until 8. That would make it a really long time to go without air conditioning within the building. The other thing you need to check on is, can you get into the building? When are the hours? Can you get in before the typical hours? Can you stay later? Is the area safe? Is the parking lot lit? Is there enough parking? That's another issue. Many buildings are zoned for medical buildings, or they're zoned for different offices, and they each have their own parking lot ratio. So when you're looking at parking, when everybody's in your office or everybody's in that building, is there spaces for your clients? There was one building that was mismarked, and there was only about 7 spaces for this big building. And we knew that if all of our therapists were there, we would run out of space. So those are the other things you need to look at. So look at, do you have access to air conditioning and heating and electricity? What are the hours for the building? Do you have the ability to change the formation or the configuration of the building? Can you move the office around? Can you move walls around? Can you get the landlord to pay for that? The next thing you need to look at is, if you're going to be obtaining an office, is, do you want that office for 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? Now, usually when you rent for longer periods of time, you're able to get the lower amount for rent, and they'll often do the configurations of the building as they part that isn't part of the cost. But let's say you're not 100% sure. Maybe a 1-year lease is all that you're really able to agree to right now, and that's totally fine. The idea is that we need to get you comfortable in the area and the neighborhood. Is your new office going to be on a bus line? Is it going to have ADA accommodations? If you were going to go for insurance, you need to be on a bus line and you need to have ADA so that your clients can get to the office if they need to. Our first office that we had didn't have an elevator. We were upstairs. And so when we were applying for some insurance companies, we weren't able to get the approval for them because we were not ADA compliant. Our second building has ADA compliance, and we have a lot of information that it makes it easier for clients to get in and out of the building with the elevator and the bars and different things. The other thing that you need to think about is, who are your neighbors? Who is in the building with you? Now, some therapists, they don't want anyone who's another therapist or anything in that field being in the same building. I get that. In my particular building, we have 3 therapists. We all do various things, and we use them as referral sources. So when we get a therapist that moves into our building or one of the buildings close by, we go and do a hi, how are you? Kind of a drop-in, and just tell them what we do and what do they do, so that we can become referral sources for one another. Other therapists are very particular, and they don't want the other therapists around. I really do believe that we have an abundance of clients. We just have to get our information out there to the clients. And so it doesn't really matter that we have folks that do the same or similar work that we do in our same building. We always do enough different things that we can refer to one another. Additionally, we see a lot of clients of staff for other therapists, and they want to come someplace really close to work where they can just walk right over and see the therapist and walk right back to work. So it works for us to have other therapists in our building. The other consideration that I think that you need to think about is there enough room for you? When you're signing a lease, you have it for a certain amount of time, but will that 1 or 2 office room suite be enough for you? There's some therapists who each of them get a room and then they share the common ground. They share the reception, they share a kitchen, they share a bathroom, and they're only renting that one particular room. If that works for you, that will help with keeping costs down. But if it doesn't work for you, because let's say you have another therapist that you want to come in or you want to expand, you're going to need an additional room, and you may not want to get that kind of configuration. Another consideration is to look at your internet access. Now, we use electronic records in my office, and when we were looking at a new building for our 3rd location, the landlord told us what the internet there is sort of spotty. Well, we can't have a place that's spotty or slow because we have all of our records electronically, and we really need to have people on the internet. So we chose not to move forward with that particular building because the internet was spotty and we just weren't sure that we would be on the internet at all times. I hope those are things that make it easier for you to figure out where you want to have your office. Please take your time, walk around, go to the office at different times to make sure that you're okay and comfortable with the neighborhood. This is a really big decision on what you're going to do, and I want you to take time to do it. All right, take care.